Greetings to the students in the New Testament Writings in Context course here at Lagrange College. This is your instructor, Dr. Larry Asplund, coming to you one last time. Can you believe we are at the end of our very fast, very intense 5-week online learning experience this summer? And what a great experience it has been. What a joy it has been for me to be able to share this time with you. I wanted to be able to stop by one last time and welcome you to week 5. Give you a sense not only of what we're going to be doing this coming week, but also how to finish very strongly, as I'm confident you are going to be doing. The week 5 theme is the Johannine traditions. That refers, of course, to the Apostle John, those writings attributed to John, which is the Gospel of John, 1st and 2nd, 3rd John, and the book of Revelation. So, John wrote very much later than the other writers and gives us kind of a more mature reflection. Of course, that book of Revelation is a series of visions he received while in exile on the Isle of Patmos and is a very unique kind of writing, of course. So our week 5 learning objectives, number 1, to think critically about the literary genre of apocalyptic writing. It's not, the book of Revelation is an example of what we call apocalyptic writing. We don't have examples of that in our own literature, but it was very common, very popular in the first century. And so that first century audience would not have had a difficulty understanding how the writing was presenting the message in the book of Revelation, the meaning of commonly used symbols, etc. But, it's a lot of work for us to be able to put ourselves, as we always want to do, into that original audience and hear the message and not just play with it and make it mean what we want it to mean. And I'm afraid that seems to happen a lot. Number 2, to think critically about the role of the writings of John and the book of Revelation at the end of the first century and its place in the New Testament canon. So very unique contributions made by everything that Paul gave us. Number 3, to communicate clearly about these ideas in a discussion form. You'll have one last time to have another great conversation between yourselves in this final week. And then number 4, to explore your own faith commitment in a complex global world and how it has been informed by this course. We live in very challenging times, and even the time in which we live has an effect upon our faith journey, our faith development. And hopefully this class has made some kind of contribution to that. Week 5 assignments then. First of all, the reading assignment. You will be reading chapters 25, 26, and the epilogue in the text by Johnson. Be sure, once again, as is always true with the reading assignments, to go in and click that link and report your reading. And then from the New Testament, to read the book of 1 John and the book of Revelation. The book of Revelation has some scary chapters, especially, like chapter 18 and 19, rather 8 and 9, and 18 and 19, 13. Please remember that the book is, as it says at the beginning, the revelation of Jesus Christ. I find it interesting to look at all the ways Jesus Christ is presented, particularly in its context in the book of Revelation. I've also given you some supplementary resources. As always, they're just there for your interest, your edification, maybe just for fun. Your assignments are not based on any of those. Your assignments are based on these official readings. So how about the week 5 discussion? Here is the prompt for our final week. Think about the book of Revelation as a writing intended to encourage persecuted believers at the end of the first century. Now, if you were one of those believers, how would reading Revelation encourage your commitment to Jesus? Again, we have the task of trying to imagine what it would have been like to be in that context. At the end of the first century, the Roman Empire was officially persecuting Christians in very ferocious ways. And so somehow those believers needed to see Christ and the Jesus community, the body of Christ, in the context not only of the Roman Empire, but in the context of the whole scope of human history from heaven's perspective. And so how do you think that maybe encourage them in the midst of their situation? Another great conversation this coming week. Week 5 assignment, you have a unique essay assignment this week. It's called the Faith Reflection Paper, which is a part of so many of our core courses in the Philosophy and Religion program. So the Faith Reflection Paper discusses how the overall course has influenced your faith personally. We're on a journey. As you well know, the development of our faith, our relationship with God is a marathon. And so many things affected along the way, including our family of origin, whether or not we grew up in the church, etc. And so the question is just to reflect on this season in your life. And I would appreciate hearing even how that's somehow factored into the challenges of COVID-19 and even our need for racial justice in our society, and how has that played into it. All of that has kind of hit us at the same time. You have, of course, information about your ethos or your ethos portfolio, depending on how you pronounce it. This faith reflection paper can be put in your portfolio. If you do so, be sure you format it in some kind of a standard way for academic writing. I recommend, we don't have a required formatting guideline for our program, but I recommend MLA, which is an excellent, kind of an easy to use, or just some common sense way of formatting your paper if you're going to include it in your portfolio. It's not needed for me in order to grade, but I think, it would just look better if you do that this week. Week 5 assignment, then there is an exam. I think of it as a review opportunity. So it's a take-home, open book, short answer essay exam. So I will ask you 5 essay questions, one from each week based on your readings in the Johnson text. I'm making available to you, of course, an exam document. You would download it and use it. Save it under a different name. Use it to record your responses to those 5 questions, and then upload the final exam document. And there will be specific instructions, of course, both at the Connect place as well as on the exam document. I'm looking for comprehension, so I'm not looking for quotations. Don't quote from the Johnson text. Summarize, paraphrase, indicate, and of course there's room for some personal reflection. Indicate your understanding of that particular issue from the 5 weeks, and put it down. There's a word requirement, a minimum of 150 words. I just need to, it's an essay exam. So I will be grading for your comprehension. So go ahead and review. It's open book. Go ahead and review. I will try to be clear as to where in the text I'm looking for you to review. And I'm sure you will be, I'm confident that you will do a very, very good job. There's opportunity here at the end to catch up in case you feel like you got behind. Most of you did not get behind. We had a couple of students who came in late and realized they're not going to be able to do, if they're coming in late, they're not going to be able to do everything that's needed in 5 weeks. Those of you who are here have done very, very well, but the best way, because remember, when you're looking at your grade center, it gives the average of the graded assignment. So before I calculate final grades, I have to go in and insert a 0 where there is a missing grade, which will bring, of course, that final number down. And so the easiest way to catch up if you need to is to do so with the reading assignments. And even with the essays, you can't really catch up in weekly discussions because they have come and gone. So you can't participate in a conversation that no longer exists, but you can catch up in every other way. And so if you feel like you need to, I'm going to keep those assignments open. One of the benefits of having a short summer session is that it's easier for me to keep those assignments open for you. Also, you're probably getting or have already gotten an email about a course evaluation. These course evaluations are so very important, probably more important now than ever before. And so I so much appreciate your interaction. I so much value your constructive criticism. I will receive a report anonymously of your thoughts, your evaluations about the course. Thank you in advance for taking some time to do that. We very, very much appreciate it. The book of Revelation, I find, is a very, very interesting book. We have this idea of the end of the world, you know, it's the zombie apocalypse or whatever it is. The world's going to cease and come to an end. It's just going to be horrible, and so much so that we hope won't be on the planet to experience. But, you know, there's another whole school of thought that says that at the end of the age, really what we're anticipating is for heaven to come down and be joined to earth, resulting in new heavens and a new earth. A kind of a, you know, not without turmoil at the end, but still a very different kind of a vision than it's all going to burn up and, you know, what will happen after that we don't know. We'll be in heaven, I don't know, maybe at a buffet forever or whatever it might be. So it's interesting how believers, Christ followers down through the centuries have had different views of the end, because, you know, there is an ending to all of this that we're experiencing. There is a destination. And I find that how we see that destination kind of shines a light on the road that we're on now and gives its own kind of meaning. So it's good for us to take a little bit of time to think about it, especially, you know, during these days. All kinds of people, whenever there are negative, you know, circumstances in society, people get real, you know, they get real apocalyptic, you know, they get real, they're talking about the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, they're talking about the end of the world, etc., and very, very pessimistically. And I you know, there is a bigger picture. And for that reason, I love chapters 21 and 22, frankly, of the book of Revelation. So anyway, it's going to be another great week. I'm so much looking forward to sharing it with you. I'm confident in you that you will finish well. Be sure to let me know how I can serve you along the way. In the meantime, I'm going to be jumping in and participating with you as well. I'm here for you, committed to you this coming week. Be sure to contact me if there's something I can do for you. God bless you, everybody. Just have a great week 5.